My name is Ethan Cole, 31 years old, divorced, no kids, working remote as a software engineer for a startup that barely notices when I log off. I live in a mid-rise condo building in northeast Portland, the kind with big floor-to-ceiling windows that look out over the I-84 freeway viaduct. At night you can see the river of taillights stretching toward the Columbia, red veins pulsing under sodium lamps. I've always liked storms. They make the city feel smaller, more contained. That November, the rain came early and hard days of gray, then a proper monster front moving in off the Pacific. The forecast called it atmospheric river, which just means biblical downpour with wind that rattles the glass. That it started around 9 p.m. on a Wednesday. I was at my desk, half watching code compile, half watching lightning fork over the gorge. Thunder rolled in low, like trucks passing too close. I killed the overhead lights, opened the blinds wider, poured a glass of bourbon, and sat on the couch facing the window. First flash lit the overpass. Maybe 200 yards away, the concrete span that carries the freeway over MLK Boulevard. Underneath it, in the shadowed triangle where the support pillars meet the ground, stood a man, dark coat, hood up, hands in pockets, tall, motionless, facing my building. Lightning died. Darkness swallowed him. I leaned forward, squinting. Probably a homeless guy taking shelter. Happens all the time under there. But something about the way he stood perfectly straight, head tilted up toward my window, felt deliberate. Next flash, he was still there. Exact same spot. No movement. Rain sheeted off the concrete lip above him, but he didn't flinch. I set the glass down, heart picking up. Just a guy, I muttered. Chill. I tried to go back to work. Couldn't focus. Kept glancing at the window. The storm intensified, wind howling between buildings, thunder cracking directly overhead. Power flickered once. I stood up, walked to the glass, pressed my palm against it. Cold. Another flash. He had moved. Not far, maybe 20 feet closer along the sidewalk under the overpass. Now standing beside one of the massive support columns. Still facing me. Hoo dripping. Face completely shadowed. My stomach twisted. I backed away, pulled the blinds half shut, left a crack to watch. Sat in the dark living room, phone in hand. No one to text, friends were scattered. Ex-wife blocked me years ago. I opened the notes app instead, typed the time, 9:47 p.m, man under overpass. Watching, 11:12 p.m, another alert from my weather app, severe thunderstorm warning. I stood again, peeked. He was closer still. Now at the edge of the overpass shadow, right where the concrete met open sidewalk. Rain hammered his shoulders. He hadn't raised his arms, hadn't pulled the hood tighter, just stood, head angled up toward my floor, 10th story, corner unit. I felt exposed, stupidly exposed. I closed the blinds completely, locked them down, turned every light in the apartment on. Kitchen, bathroom, bedroom, hallway, bright as day. Sat on the couch again, tried Netflix, couldn't hear the dialogue over the rain. Around 12:40, a.m3 soft knocks came from the front door. Not pounding, not urgent, just 3 measured taps. Polite. My blood turned to ice. I crept to the peephole. Hallway empty, fluorescent light, buzzing, beige carpet. No one. I waited. Nothing. Then the knocks came again. Same rhythm. From the door I backed away, grabbed the fire extinguisher from under the sink, heavy metal. Better than nothing. Stood in the entryway, listening. Silence, except rain. Then my phone buzzed on the coffee table. Unknown number. One message. Nice view. I stared at it, hands shaking, typed, nothing. Blocked the number. Another buzz, different number. I can see you too. I powered the phone off completely, unplugged the Wi-Fi router, sat in the bright, silent apartment, fire extinguisher across my lap, listening to the storm rage. Around 2 a.m. the power cut, total blackout. No streetlights, no freeway glow. Nothing but the occasional lightning flash, turning the room white. I stayed frozen on the couch. Next flash through the thin gap in the blind. I saw him. He was standing on the sidewalk directly below my building now. Head tilted back, hoo dripping, face upturned toward my window. Lightning caught the lower half, pale chin, mouth stretched in a wide, thin smile. I gasped, dropped the extinguisher. It clanged loud. He didn't move, just smiled up at me through the rain. Then darkness again. I crawled to the window on hands and knees, peeked through the slats. Next flash, he was gone. Power came back around 3:30 a.m. with a low hum. Lights flickered on. I stayed on the floor for another hour, listening. No more knocks, no more text, phone still off. At dawn, the rain eased to drizzle. I forced myself to look out. Overpass empty, sidewalk empty, Just wet concrete and trash blown against the pillars. I called in sick. Told my manager, family emergency. Spent the day installing blackout curtains, thick, thermal ones that block every sliver of light. Ordered 2 security cameras online express delivery. Mounted one facing the window, one on the hallway peephole with a wide-angle lens. That night, no storm. Clear cold air. I watched the feeds obsessively. Nothing. 3 nights later, the sky cracked. Open again. Thunder at 10 p.m. I sat with the curtains closed. Camera app open. Front camera pinged. First hallway motion. I switched feeds. Empty corridor. Then the window camera pinged. I opened it. Grainy night vision. Rain streaking the glass from outside. And there, pressed close to the pane on the other side, impossibly close, was his face. Who'd back now? Pale skin, dark hollows under the eyes, wet hair plastered to his forehead. Mouth stretched in that same wide, joyless grin. Teeth very white. Eyes locked on the lens. Lightning flash. He was gone from the feed. But I heard it. Soft tapping on the glass. Not hard. Just fingernails. Slow circles. I backed into the kitchen, grabbed a knife this time, stood in the dark, breathing shallow. Tapping stopped. Phone buzzed. New number. Somehow past airplane mode. You closed the curtains. That's okay. I know where you sleep. I threw the phone across the room. It hit the wall. Screen cracked. I didn't sleep. Sat against the bedroom door, knife in hand, until morning. Next day, I went to the police. Showed them the texts, screenshots from before I blocked, described the man, the knocks, the face at the window. They took a report, said they'd send extra patrols past the building. Asked if I had enemies, stalkers, anyone who knew my address. I said no, that they suggested therapy. I nodded, left. I moved out 10 days later, broke the lease, paid the penalty, packed in the middle of the day while the sun was high. Drove south to Eugene's smaller city, cheaper rent, farther from that overpass. New apartment, 3rd floor, no freeway view. I keep the blinds closed at night. I don't watch storms anymore, but every time thunder rolls a van far away, check the window first. And sometimes, in the split second before the flash fades, I think I see him again. Standing under a bridge, somewhere. Looking up. Smiling. Waiting for the next storm. Because he knows I'm still here, and he hasn't forgotten where I live.